back to my channel. If you're new here, I am so pleased you joined us. Thank you. So today I answer your questions. So I put a video out a few weeks ago and I asked you to basically ask me anything. So quite a few of you, I was like really nervous because I was thinking, what if I get like no questions? Nobody gives a crap. But I have such lovely subscribers because you guys did come back and ask me some questions, which is really nice. Sorry, that hair's driving me insane. Where will you go? That way? So yeah, a lot of you did come back and ask me some questions, which I'm really chuffed about. It's just really nice to have a community of people who can like chat back and forth from across the world a lot of the time as well. Like some of you are from like Scotland, England, America, Australia obviously. I mean, wow, it's just so awesome. So I guess let's get into it. Taking a sip before I start. I'm a little nervous for this one. I don't know why, but I'm a little nervous about answering the questions. I mean, none of the questions were bad at all. They were all lovely. Lovely questions. Anyway, let's get into it. Okay, so the first question was, what made me move to Australia? So, I guess you could say the biggest thing that pushed us to move to Australia was the weather. I know that's a really cliche thing to say, but it really was the biggest clincher for us. It was the weather. We were, I guess I'll tell you the whole kind of story because there was a story behind what made us make the move. We had a holiday. We obviously lived in England all our lives, and we when Elliot was about 4, I think he was about 4, we went on a holiday to Spain, the 3 of us, and it was an all-inclusive holiday to Spain. Absolutely amazing holiday. The weather was fantastic. We'd been really stressed at work and really stressed about money. That's another thing I'll tell you about. But yeah, weather-wise, so we'd had this holiday to Spain. Elliot had a whale of a time. He had the time of his life. Every night we were entertained. There was entertainment. There was drinks on like flowing. It was all inclusive, so everything was in. And on a lunchtime we would go and swim in the pool, and then grab like chips and beans as a snack that they had on like a buffet, and a bun, and then we'd maybe after lunch go to the beach, and we just had the nicest time that we ever had ever. And it was 7-day holiday, and we arrived. Actually, I'll tell you a little bit more. There was a little boat trip there as well that this family owned, and they were from England, but they decided to move to Spain and set up a little boat trip just from one side of the river to the other. It was like a tiny little 5-minute boat ride to take you from one side of the island to the other. And what they said was they just upped and left, saved up all their money, moved to Spain, bought this boat and set up this business and have never looked back since. And they were happy. You could tell they were just really happy. And we were like, oh, that would be nice. And then we ended up, obviously we got home, and as we were coming into land, we went under the clouds, and the fog and the darkness and the rain and the cold just kind of hit us, and we were miserable. absolutely miserable. I remember we went to my husband's father's birthday that day, and it was a washout. The rain was coming down, it was dark, it was gloomy, it was just a washout. And we got home that day and we had a chat, and we were like, should we do it? Because we've talked about emigration, and wouldn't it be amazing to change your life, to decide to just up and go to a place that's got like a higher percentage of really nice weather. And we had a chat about where we would like to go. And I was a nurse at the time, and Stephen was in the civil service in employment support. And our wages, this brings me to wages. So our wages were really not very good for the professions that we were in. I mean, I was a nurse, a higher level nurse as well. I think I was a band 6 or something, which is quite high up. And he was quite high up in the civil service. And neither of us had seen a wage rise for probably about 3 years, I think, at the time. So obviously the cost of living was going up. Our wages weren't going up at all, and the mortgage was going up, and we just felt worse and worse and worse off every month. And the weather didn't help, because it was we felt like it was always gloomy, and all we could do was shop, and we didn't have the money to shop. So it's just compounding things one after the other that made us feel like we wanted to make the leap. So Australia came to mind because nursing was on the required skills list. So what we did was we located an agent in London, and via emails and telephone and things, we had their help in trying to gain permanent residency. So they took us through it step by step. We paid about £10,000, which is about $14,000, I think, for a permanent residence visa. And I had to take tests as well. I had to take 3. You only need to take 1 if you pass it, but I had to take 3 IELTS tests because they were super, super hard. Well, I found them hard anyway. But eventually I passed, and I remember I was at work at the time, and my job was stressing me out so much. I was what they call a case manager, like a nursing case manager, and I had mental health patients in hospital that had committed murders, rapes. I had to sit at tribunals and present my reports and things to the psychiatrists and put up a case for people getting out of hospital or not getting out of hospital, or having funding for services. It's the most stressful job, and I didn't feel like I was enjoying the job either. And all I wanted to do was move to Australia. All I wanted was a life in Australia. We'd never been before, by the way. This is going to be a long video, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry in advance. I'll try and speed it up a bit, but yeah, we had never been to Australia before, but because my skill was on the skills list, what we thought was, we'll jump in both feet. We're not going to go for a year and see what it's like. We're going to jump in both feet. We're going to sell the house, we're going to sell the cars, we're going to quit work, and we're going to move, and we're just going to move our lives. And we did that. So I ended up passing the test, we got the visas. I was at work at the time, that's what I was saying, and the email came through that I'd passed the test. And honestly, like, the sense of relief and the burden on my shoulders was just lifted instantly when I got that email to say that I'd passed the IELTS, and we were able to get the visa. And then the email came through that we were able to get the visa a few days later, and honestly, we were giddy. So we literally sold the house, sold the cars, packed suitcases, stayed at Stephen's mum's until we had the flight to come here, booked our flights before the date of entry. You have to enter before a certain date, and scanned our passports when we got here, and that was it. We were permanent residents from that point, and that means we're permanently able to live here. And then we turned up, we stayed in a hotel for 2 weeks. Stephen looked for a job during that time. He got a job. We ended up getting a rental, and life started from there. And we've never once looked back, honestly. I was a little depressed at first because I didn't get a job at first. And I'm a very hard-working person. I've got to have a job, got to contribute, and I got a little bit depressed about that, but ended up getting a job. Absolutely just loving life. Like, everything worked out as it should have for us. Like, we just love it. Anyway, I'll move on to the next question because I really did speak very lengthy about that. It's like 13 minutes. Okay, next question. Did I meet my husband in the UK or Australia? Okay, I think I've probably answered that one with the previous answer. But yes, I met my husband in the UK. So we met the old-fashioned way. I was 18. I think I was 18, and he was 19 at the time, I think. And we were on a night out. I was on a night out with my friends. He was on a night out with his friends. We ended up going to a club called Annabelle's. We went to a club called Annabelle's, obviously separately, didn't know each other. And I was on the dance floor, just dancing away with my friends. And I looked over and I saw Stephen. And I thought, he's nice. And he was looking at me as well. I could see him looking over. He wasn't dancing because he doesn't dance, but he was just talking with his friends and he was drinking his drink. And he kept looking. And my friend came over and she saw me looking at him, and she said, "Do you like him?" And I was like, "Yeah, I think he's cute." And she went over to him. She just toddled off over to him. I was like, "No, you know when you're like really embarrassed." And then she came back over and she said, "Go and talk to him then." So I was like, all right. So I wandered over and we started chatting, and there was just a spark. There was a lovely spark between us. He was really, really humble and really gentle in nature, and that's what I really liked in a man. Like, to be like, for somebody to be nice looking, obviously, because that's what you want, and like the first thing you're attracted to is someone's face and the way they look. But yeah, his gentle nature came across immediately when I met him, and yeah, we hit it off. We basically hit it off, and never looked back since. It's been lovely. Still just as in love now, honestly. It's really, really nice. It's really, really nice that we're still together. And is there a question about how long we've been together? Because I don't want to answer all the questions before I get there. I don't think there is. So yeah, we've been together nearly 22 years now. It's 22 years? Been married nearly 22 years. Been together 23 or 24? Something like that anyway. But it's been a long time and we have never looked back. Honestly. Okay. Are you planning on going back to the UK at all? This is question number 3. And have you been back since coming to live in Oz? Yes, we've been back. We went back about 3 years ago. And the battery's flashing at me. I will have to replace the battery soon. It's because I'm yammering so much. Yes, we've been back about 3 years ago. We went back and saw everybody. It was my husband's 40th. And we went back for that. We had a party for him. It was lovely to be back. It's very strange going back to somewhere that you know so well, having been away for so long. But it was really nice. It was really nice to see everybody. And to see all our old haunts, going to the Metro Centre. That's a big shopping centre in the UK that we used to go to all the time, and I missed it a lot. And I absolutely loved going back there as well. And obviously seeing all the family and everything, it was lovely. But we do get people visiting quite a lot, so. And yes, we'll go back in the future. I don't think soon, but we will go back in the future at some point. Question number 4. Have we visited other parts of Australia? So yes, we have. We haven't ventured very far, but we went to Sydney a few years ago to see the monster trucks. We've been to Sydney a few times now, but yeah, we all went to see, me, Stephen and Elliot went to see the monster trucks, and that was such a good holiday. Absolutely loved it. To see the Opera House and all of the sights in Sydney was just amazing. And we had this apartment hotel room with a rooftop pool. Absolutely gorgeous. Loved it. It was so nice. And we've been to the opera in Sydney as well. That was really fun. It was really nice and really entertaining to actually go and see an opera. We were a bit dubious whether we'd enjoy it or not, but we really did. It was really good. We've also been to Cairns. We went for my 40th a couple of years ago. Well, it'll be 2 years in September. So yeah, we went to Cairns. We went for 2 weeks, and there wasn't an awful lot to do in the part that we went to, but we enjoyed relaxing, just having a stroll every day, not having any pressure. It was just really nice, and we had a really nice hotel, apartment. It was a small hotel with apartments and swimming pools and things. It was very nice. We enjoyed it a lot. Okay, question number 5. Do I work in decorating? Because I'm really good at it. Thank you so much. That's really nice of you. That's really nice. So I don't work in decorating. I work in mental health services. But I'll go more into that in the next question. But yeah, that's really nice of you to say. I really have a passion for home decor and obviously decorating and home staging. I think I like it to look show homey. Don't know why, I think I've always been like that. In England I had the house looking like a show home the majority of the time, and when we went to sell I kind of staged it like a show home. I painted everywhere, put accessories to match everywhere. I'm quite passionate about that sort of thing, and I'm very house proud. Sorry, the battery ran out, so I had to go and get another battery to replace it. Can't actually remember what I was saying. I think I was saying I like the house to look presentable. I'm quite house proud. So yes, no, I don't work in decorating. Which brings me to the next question, question 6. What do you do for work apart from YouTube? So with YouTube, at the moment, it's more of a enjoyable hobby because I don't get paid for it. You might notice that there are some adverts on a lot of my videos, and that is because YouTube decide to put adverts on popular videos. So if something's doing really well, they'll put an advert on there and they'll benefit from that. We don't get anything as the creator, so I don't get paid at all for that. So my aim for YouTube is to get to 1,000 at first, and then obviously go beyond that to actually try and make an income from it. So that would be the ideal scenario for me. But at the moment, my full-time job is I work in mental health. So I guess the easiest way to explain it is I build services for a mental health not-for-profit company. So I actually build supports. I create, you could call contracts and schedules for supports for people and the pricing and how much that's going to cost. And I I go out for meetings with regard to people wanting the supports and discussing that. I'll not tell you who I work for or anything really more than that, because I keep that quite private. But yeah, I really enjoy what I do. I love how technical it is. Sometimes systems can be frustrating, but I think that's true with any job. But yeah, I really enjoy what I do. It's actually probably the only job I've ever had that I truly do enjoy. I think, apart from Movie World, I did work for Movie World for a little bit. That was enjoyable in a different way, just because that was fun. It was fun, but I didn't get paid a lot for it. But I mean, I did have a good time doing that. But yeah, my job is I work in mental health and I build services. So that's me, job-wise. Okay, question number 7. What's your favourite movie? Okay, it's really, really hard to narrow them down. So I would probably say it's probably a really cliche one. Devil Wears Prada. I mean, absolutely love that movie. It's just so good. And The Martian. Really, really like that movie. I don't know why, there's just something about it. I really, really love that movie. And Matt Damon, he's on my list, so I'm bound to like it. Also, Passengers. Has anyone seen Passengers? It is such a good movie. It's Chris Pratt and what's she called? I can't remember the female actor's name, but it's Chris Pratt and that female actor. And they end up on a spaceship to another planet, and it's going to take them 120 years to get there, and they end up stranded. But I'll not tell you too much about it, but it's such a good movie. I love it. Some of my guilty pleasures are The Wolf of Wall Street. Really hard-hitting movie, but I absolutely love that movie. Shirley Valentine. Don't know if many of you will have seen Shirley. Well, you might have. I don't know. It's an English movie, and she's kind of like a lonely housewife who feels kind of mistreated, sort of thing, and ends up going to Greece and finding love and a life that she only dreamed she could have. And it's just a really good movie. Love it. And Bridget Jones. I mean, who doesn't like Bridget Jones? Love them. Love them movies. Okay, question number 8. What's your favourite singer, band and actor? So, my favourite actor has to be Melissa McCarthy. She is hilarious. Absolutely love her. Do you know what? She and I would be best friends. I swear down, I'd just pee myself laughing at her, especially with like outtakes and things, and the way she is just in general. I just really like her. Singer and band. See, I'm not really into modern music that much. I'm like old school. I really like jazz as well. Like Susie, like real like lounge jazz, like that kind of like where you could just like bop your head to, well, kind of, or click your fingers to. Lounge jazz. And I like really old stuff like U2, Snow Patrol, bands like that. Just, I'm not that keen on the modern stuff that's coming out these days. I just don't think it has that same effect. I don't know. Anyway, question number 9. Have you travelled? So I guess if I go from when I was a kid, we used to always go to Spain. Every single year we'd go to Spain at least once, and absolutely loved it. Amazing time we used to have in Spain. I mean, that's what kind of inspired us to come to a hot country. Amsterdam, we've been to Amsterdam before. Me and Stephen, when we first met, loved it. Absolutely loved it. It was so flat. There was no hills anywhere, and you could just walk for miles and miles without getting tired. It was so culture shock in some ways with some things that you saw, like the red light bit. It was a bit like, whoa, what's going on here? Like we were a little bit like taken aback with that. So some of the culture was a little bit like it took us back, but absolutely loved it. Amazing holiday. Florida, been to Florida before, very touristy. Disney World, all that jazz. We'd love to go back, absolutely love to as a family. We didn't take Elliot, he's never been, and we would absolutely love to take him because we just know how much he would love it. So fingers crossed for that. And I guess various parts of England. We've been to the Lake District, Scotland, never been to London. Even though I have a brother who lived in London at one point, we've never been, ever. We lived in the northeast, and very different to London, the northeast, very different. So I hear anyway. Question number 10, how long have you had Baxter? So we've had Baxter since he was a puppy. I'll tell you the story about Baxter. So with my job, the job I used to have in the same company I work for now, I used to go out with clients and help them with whatever their goals were. And one client used to like to go to the shops and things in a shopping centre, a certain shopping centre. And we went to a shopping centre, the same shopping centre one day, and she liked to look at the animals in the pet shop. And we went in and Baxter was there. Little puppy Baxter, tiny he was about this big. Floppy ears that curled over. And he was in the top shelf of a glass cage sort of thing with a little glass lip on it. And he put his little paws on and he looked over. And he was the only one in there. All his siblings had been sold. And I fell in love, absolutely fell in love with him. And I was heartbroken that I wouldn't have been able to get a dog because Stephen wouldn't have wanted one. But I absolutely loved this dog. We went back a week later, he was still there. A few weeks went by, we went back again, he was still there. I was heartbroken that he was still there, nobody wanted him. Absolutely heartbroken. So I kind of made a pledge that he was going to be mine. So I kind of begged and kind of went on and on and on about the fact that this little one was still there and nobody was getting him, and I wanted to be the one to get him because I knew I would treat him right. I knew he would love us, and I begged so much that it ended up being a, oh, go on then. So I was so happy. So the card just got full and I had to erase some stuff. So where was I? Yes, so I ended up going to the pet shop. I know we shouldn't buy from pet shops, but this was a different situation. I wasn't actually looking for a dog and I wanted to be the one to get him. I wanted to treat him right, give him cuddles every day, and I know he's got a lovely life with us. So yeah, I went to the pet shop, they put him in my arms and he literally cuddled into me and wouldn't let go, and I didn't let go of him. Oh my god, so pleased that Stephen ended up kindly saying yes, and he loves him to bits now, absolutely loves him to bits. So that brings me on to the next question, which is how old is Baxter? So Baxter is going to be 6 in November. So he's still a young'un really, he's still a little young pup. And is he a fawn? I don't know, we didn't get any papers with him. The pet shop didn't give us any. They said he was a purebred Chihuahua, but we're not really to know that because we obviously didn't get papers and things. So I don't really know. I think he is, but yeah, it doesn't matter. We love him to bits, and he loves us. I know he does. So question number 11, I think it is. This might be 12, sorry. Favourite quote. So I have a few, well actually I have quite a few, but my top two are, when you love what you do, money follows. So if you have full gratitude for what you do, money will follow. And another one is, gratitude is the great multiplier. Everything is possible with intention. I'll just leave those with you. Okay, number 13, how do I stay so calm? And she also said, love my easygoing ways. Thank you so much. How do I remain so calm? I guess I want my channel to be, I'm always calm. I'm always really, really calm. I never get overly het up about things. I don't let things get to me too much because it's not worth it. But I want my channel to be an escape for people. I want people to want to come to my channel to chill out, to relax, to let go of all the worries of the day and just like ease into it, you know? I think it's good to have an escape. So that's what I want my channel to be. And I guess that's why it kind of comes across that I'm so kind of calm. But I love my channel so much. And I think when you love what you do, it really comes across and people feel comfortable with you if you look like you're comfortable yourself and at ease. So yeah, and when it shows that you love something, it's kind of a magnet. You draw people to you who are like-minded as well. But yeah, I never let anything get to me. I'm kind of like I don't get involved in drama. Never have done, never will do. I don't bitch about people. I don't outwardly dislike anything or anyone. I just kind of am easygoing, good-natured, and I guess that comes across in my channel. So that's good. It's good to know. Question 14, more about us as a family. So I guess again, me and Stephen have been married for, I've got almost 21 years on here, but I think it's almost 22. He's an employment consultant, like I said. Elliot's in grade 9, going on grade 10 in the next year, and he's almost 15. Elliot is our only son. We only ever had one child. The truth is, we only wanted one child. We struggled quite a lot to get pregnant in the first place. We had issues. We were on the IVF register waiting list. Ended up falling pregnant naturally, which was great, but it was very the percentage of us falling pregnant naturally was very low. So we didn't tell each other at the time. Both of us were the same. We only wanted one, and we wanted a boy, and he came along, and that's why we only stuck with one. Plus, money-wise in England, like I explained, we didn't have much, and we thought, well, more than one would cost more. It's not fair on the babysitters for when we go to work, you know. So one it was, and what we thought was, we'll be able to treat him when he's older or throughout his life, because there's only one of him, and he'll get more with not having siblings. Sometimes I do wish that we gave him a brother, because sometimes he gets a bit lonely, but he always says he's happy with things the way they are, and he's always forever grateful that he gets treated so well. So yeah, that's us as a family. I guess we're a family unit of 4. Me, Stephen, Elliot and Baxter. Okay, so question number 16. What are some of the things Australians do or did that I thought were weird when I first moved here? That was a really good question. So, a funny one, dog washers. Never seen a dog wash in England. Mobile dog washers and dog washers that you see in like the row of shops next to a shop or whatever. Absolutely fascinated. We were like, what on earth? You bring your dog to get washed like a car wash? We just thought it was hilarious. So that was one thing. Posties. So in England, the postman drives a postal van, and delivers, or most of them kind of just walk up and down the street with this big bag with the letters in and post through the letterbox, because in England you have letterboxes and they post through the letterbox. You don't have these post boxes that are like set back in the garden. So when we first saw the postie on his bike in his fluoros driving across people's lawns, we just thought it was hilarious. So funny. Obviously to you guys you're like, oh, it's just normal, but to us we found that hilarious. Don't know why, just something about it. And I once saw a postie driving down the road and this bird was attacking his helmet as he was driving. I was like, so funny. Oh yeah, the obvious ones. I was fascinated that you guys had Target, Kmart. I was like, that is so American, that's amazing. So yeah, everything fascinated us when we first moved here. The sunshine, obviously, the birds, the parrots, the lorikeets. Just, I mean, none of that's weird. We just were just fascinated. We don't think anything that Aussies do or say is weird. We're just fascinated by everything. Love it so much. Question number 15? 16? 16. Did I grow up with animals? Yes. So mainly cats. We mainly had cats. I remember one cat that we had, he was called Charlie, and he was my number one favourite cat. He used to wake me up at the same time, when he knew I needed to get up, at the same time every morning. He used to paw at my feet to get me out of bed, because he knew I had to be up. He was just the nicest cat. He was so clever. You know, some cats you just know that they're really smart. They just know. I can't remember other things that he used to do. We didn't have him for very long. He unfortunately got run over by a car. I was devastated. But yeah, he was a super smart cat. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I grew up with cats. We had lots and lots of cats. Not all at once. The most we had at once was 2. But yeah, it was mainly cats. Anyway, is that it? Yeah, that's all the questions. So, I know this was a really, really long video, but I really hope I thoroughly answered the questions that you asked me. If you've got any more questions, please feel free to throw them in any comments, or in the comments on any video that I make. I'm quite happy to answer your questions. It's quite nice to get to know somebody, isn't it, when you've been watching them for a while, to actually, because you probably wonder certain things about me. So yeah, if you've got any more questions, please feel free to throw them in the comments on my videos, and I'll happily do another Q&A video. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your week ahead, and I hope to see you in my next video. Thanks guys, bye!